Hello, this is Drew for Hawthorne Union, and I'm just recording a quick video to help prepare you for the CKA test as part of your PCC portfolio. Now, as it happens, I just got done finishing the CKA test, and I passed with an 84%, which is maybe not the best score in the world, but it is a passing score, and passing will get you to your PCC certification. So I'm recording this video as a newly certified PCC, and I'm going to just pass along my experience to you while it's fresh in my mind. I took the test literally like an hour ago. And so in the interest of helping you prepare for the test, I want to pass along my observations, how I studied, how you should study to make sure that you pass the test and you successfully attain your PCC certification. So the first thing I have to tell you guys about this is just don't worry about this test. It's pretty easy. It's time blocked for 3 hours. I think it took me 50 minutes, less than 1 hour. It is a closed book. It's meant to be taken in one sitting, and you can definitely do it if you prepare yourself in an hour, maybe 2 hours. There's 155 questions as of this recording, and you only need a 70% to pass. So you can do the math there. It's achievable to pass. If you're still going to get some things wrong, that's okay. That's totally fine. In terms of preparation, I would just really heavily review the ethical guidelines from the ICF, review the coaching role from the ICF. There are a lot of questions about the difference between coaching and consulting and how those approaches are going to manifest in a given scenario. There's a lot of scenario questions about, you have been working with a client for 6 months and suddenly XYZ happens, or, on a first meeting, a new CEO has hired you and they ask you to do ABC. And a lot of those questions are around the coaching versus consulting difference. A lot of the questions also really just delve into what is the definition of coaching and what is a coach's role with regards to not only ethics and appropriate behavior from an ethical standpoint, but also staying in your role as a coach, staying compassionate, empathetic, and staying in the role of the questioner and not the solution provider or the answer provider. There are a lot of questions designed to get at what might happen if you are tempted to go into a solution providing mode or a problem solving mode for your client. There are also another category of questions that I would consider questions about potentially serious situations where clients are bringing you evidence that they may need therapy or medical intervention rather than coaching. And just use common sense with those. Obviously, if someone is telling you about depression or self-harm ideation or any kind of suicidal ideation, obviously that's not a problem for coaching. That's a problem for therapy or, a medical provider or some kind of medical expert. So just know the differences and know your delineations and your lines in the sand between, what is therapy, what is coaching, what is medical professionals, what is consulting. Just understanding really well the boundaries and the definitions thereof will help you answer all those questions correctly. There's also a lot of really common sense questions about, co-creating an agenda and whose agenda is it in the coaching session? And is it appropriate for you to share your personal experience and tell personal stories during coaching? Is it appropriate for you to push clients in certain directions during coaching? Is it appropriate for you to provide answers and tell stories from your own experience during coaching? Is it appropriate to berate clients, right, and tell them they need to focus or they need to be better at following through or better at their action items, that type of thing? A lot of it's going to be very, very common sense, easy to answer based on, your thorough understanding of the coaching profession and the coach role, which is to be a wise question asker and to always co-create and collaborate with your clients and build things together rather than being proscriptive, rather than prescribing solutions, rather than pushing them towards one course of action or another. So really, really straightforward test in my view. I will say the caveat here is that I have been coaching in a professional capacity in one way, shape, or form, whether credentialed or not credentialed, since around the year 2006, 2007. And this video is being recorded in 2023, with long stretches in between there where I was not doing pure coaching, but I have a pretty good handle on, what is a coaching relationship versus a therapeutic relationship versus a consulting arrangement. And so as long as you have a really clear understanding of those things, you're going to do just fine on this test. And as long as you have a keen understanding of, what's common sense in a coaching arrangement, you're going to do fine on the test, right? If you understand that coaches are not here to provide answers, they're not here to provide industry-specific expertise. They're here to co-create with a client, help them unlock their own capabilities and their own potential. Clients are meant to be relied on to be creative, resourceful, and whole. Clients have the solutions, they have the answers within them. You'll be fine if you just keep that in mind and refer back to that when you're asked potentially sticky scenario questions. Another potentially sticky scenario question that you should just review before you take the test and just understand the clarity is what to do when there's like a CEO or someone paying for the coaching, but you're not coaching them directly. You're coaching a subordinate or you're coaching a team. And, the sponsor of the coaching is different from the coachee, and understanding those delineation of those relationships and those boundaries and what is appropriate, coachee, coach relationship, privilege and confidential, like what is that relationship versus the relationship with the sponsor, and how do you navigate the communication between the sponsor versus the coachee and that. So if you understand that relationship clearly, if you understand the boundaries, then those questions probably will come up on the test and you're going to do just fine. If you go into the test knowing those relationships and having, even a pretty common sense understanding of those relationships, I don't think you're going to have a big difficulty with that set of questions. But there are a fair number of questions out of the 155, I would say, were about sponsors versus coachee. And when there's complicated situations like, maybe you're coaching a couple members of the executive staff separately or together, or a group and a team versus individual coaching, all that stuff, I would just kind of know that stuff going into the test and understand those relationships and understand what the ICF says about maintaining professional boundaries and maintaining confidentiality and how that all works. And then you'll answer those questions just fine. So again, just really a short video to kind of let you know what to study, how to prep, how to go into this test. If you know all that material that I've kind of just covered, you're going to do fine. You're going to pass. I just passed. I didn't pass with the greatest score ever. I didn't get 100%, but I passed. And I think you will pass too if you are able to just relax, understand your role, understand the coaching role, understanding the ICF definition of coaching and, all the teaching, everything you've learned so far about being an ICF coach. You're going to do just fine on the CKA test. And don't worry as well about the timing of it. I've seen some people, concerned about bathroom breaks or how long it takes and how rigorously you'll be monitored during the 3 hours. It was a totally chill test. It was not anything out of the ordinary. It was like any other online multiple choice test or survey. Honestly, it was not special in any way in that term. And again, it did not take me 3 hours. I think 3 hours allowance of time without breaks is extremely generous for 155 questions. That's plenty of time. Most of these questions are not super hard thinkers. You'll probably have a gut feeling of what's the right answer, and you're probably right in your gut. So I hope that's helpful. Again, Drew for Hawthorne Union, and we'll just end it there. Good luck on your test, and I'm sure you'll do well. Cheers.